Hello there, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist, a place where curiosity slows down and science becomes calm. Tonight we turn our attention to something always present yet rarely noticed, the Earth's magnetic field, a quiet and steady force that surrounds the planet, guiding motion, protecting life, and moving patiently through time. Before we begin, allow yourself to settle comfortably. Let your breathing become slow and natural. There is nothing you need to focus on and nothing you need to remember. The magnetic field does not rush, and neither do you. Whatever belonged to the day can gently fade into the background. The Earth's magnetic field is not loud or dramatic. It does not announce itself. It flows invisibly around the planet, stretching far into space, steady and continuous. It shifts slowly, changes gradually, and maintains balance without effort. Compass needles respond to it quietly, charged particles follow its paths gently, and life continues beneath its calm presence. As we continue, we'll explore the most relaxing facts about the Earth's magnetic field, how it forms deep within the planet, how it moves patiently over centuries, and how it protects the atmosphere and surface without interruption. These facts are not meant to excite or overwhelm. They are meant to slow the mind, soften awareness, and invite rest. If you enjoy these gentle journeys through nature and quiet science, you're always welcome to subscribe and return whenever you need calm curiosity. For now, simply listen and let your thoughts drift within the steady, invisible embrace of Earth's magnetic field. Let us begin. The Earth's magnetic field begins deep beneath the surface, far below the crust we live on, in a region where temperatures are high and materials move slowly but constantly. Molten iron and nickel circulate within the outer core in broad, looping patterns. This motion is not fast or chaotic. It is steady and continuous, unfolding over immense spans of time. From this gentle movement, the magnetic field emerges naturally, without noise or force, extending outward in all directions. Once formed, the magnetic field does not remain confined to the planet itself. It stretches far into space, creating an invisible region known as the magnetosphere. This region is not rigid or sharply defined. It shifts softly in response to solar activity, expanding and contracting gradually while maintaining its overall structure. The magnetosphere feels less like a boundary and more like a protective presence that moves patiently with changing conditions. The magnetic field flows in looping lines that emerge near one pole, curve outward into space, and return near the opposite pole. These lines are not physical objects, but gentle pathways that charged particles tend to follow. Their shape changes slowly over time, reinforcing the idea that the magnetic field is dynamic yet calm, always present but never abrupt. At the surface of the Earth, the magnetic field is subtle and steady. It does not fluctuate rapidly or demand attention. A compass needle responds quietly to its influence, aligning itself without effort. This simple interaction reflects the broader nature of the field itself. A force that guides rather than pushes, influences rather than commands. The strength of the magnetic field varies gently across the planet. It is slightly stronger near the poles and slightly weaker near the equator, but these differences unfold smoothly rather than sharply. This gradual variation creates a sense of continuity, where no sudden changes interrupt the field's overall balance. Over long periods of time, the magnetic field slowly drifts. The magnetic poles are not fixed points. They wander gradually across the planet's surface, moving at a pace measured in kilometers per year rather than moments or days. This slow migration reflects the calm motion of the core beneath the surface, reinforcing the idea that change here is patient and unhurried. The magnetic field also acts as a quiet shield. Charged particles from the sun approach the Earth constantly, carried by the solar wind. When they meet the magnetic field, they are gently guided along curved paths rather than striking the atmosphere directly. This interaction happens continuously and silently, protecting the planet without dramatic intervention. In the upper atmosphere, some of these guided particles create soft displays of light near the poles. These lights emerge gradually, following the magnetic field's pathways. Even here, the magnetic field does not act suddenly, it channels energy smoothly, allowing light to appear as flowing patterns rather than sharp flashes. The magnetic field extends its influence to many natural systems without drawing attention to itself. Migrating animals, ocean currents carrying charged particles, and even subtle electrical processes within the Earth respond quietly to its presence. These interactions happen continuously, forming a background layer of order that supports life without announcing itself. Throughout all of this, the magnetic field remains in motion without moving toward an ending. It shifts, drifts, and adjusts slowly, guided by deep processes that continue unfolding. Nothing about it feels final or resolved. It simply persists, steady and invisible, surrounding the planet with a calm influence that continues beyond awareness, moment by moment, without urgency or conclusion. The Earth's magnetic field does not remain perfectly still, yet its changes unfold so gradually that they feel almost timeless. Subtle variations ripple through the field as conditions deep within the planet shift slowly. These variations are not sudden or disruptive. They are gentle adjustments that allow the field to remain balanced, responding quietly to processes far below the surface. Deep inside the outer core, the flow of molten metal follows broad, looping paths shaped by Earth's rotation. This motion is steady rather than turbulent, creating a self-sustaining pattern that continuously supports the magnetic field. The core does not rush or pause. It moves at a pace that feels patient and reliable, reinforcing the calm persistence of the field above it. The magnetic field acts as a kind of memory of the planet's interior. Changes in the flow of molten metal leave subtle imprints that can be traced over long periods. Scientists can observe these gradual shifts, not as sharp events, but as slow drifts that unfold over decades and centuries, emphasizing the long rhythm of Earth's internal processes. At the surface, the magnetic field interacts gently with the ground beneath our feet. Certain minerals align with the field as they form, preserving a quiet record of its direction at the time. These records accumulate slowly in rocks, offering a calm archive of the field's history without ever interrupting the present. The magnetic field's interaction with space remains equally gentle. As solar particles approach Earth, the field curves around them smoothly, guiding them along invisible paths. This guidance is continuous rather than reactive, maintaining protection without needing to strengthen or weaken abruptly. Within the magnetosphere, charged particles move in slow, looping motions, drifting along magnetic lines in predictable ways. These motions are stable and repeating, creating a sense of order that persists even as the sun's activity changes. The field absorbs variation without losing its calm structure. The shape of the magnetic field subtly changes between day and night as Earth rotates. These changes are smooth and rhythmic, not sharp. The field stretches slightly on the night side and compresses gently on the day side, responding quietly to solar influence while maintaining overall balance. Over centuries, the strength of the magnetic field may increase or decrease slightly. These changes are gradual and measured, never sudden. Even over long spans of time, the field remains present and effective, adapting without urgency and preserving continuity rather than disruption. The magnetic field also extends its influence into the oceans. Moving seawater carries charged particles that interact softly with the field, creating faint electrical currents. These interactions occur continuously and gently, forming part of the planet's quiet electrical balance. Through all of these interactions, the magnetic field continues its steady existence. It adjusts, guides, and protects without drawing attention to itself. Its motion remains slow, its influence consistent, and its presence constant, forming a calm and enduring layer around the planet that continues to unfold without reaching an ending. The Earth's magnetic field carries a quiet continuity that stretches far beyond human timescales. Long before modern life appeared, this invisible field was already flowing around the planet, shaped by deep internal motion that has never needed to hurry. Its persistence creates a sense that some processes are not meant to resolve or complete, but simply to continue, steady and reliable. Within the magnetosphere, charged particles follow slow, looping paths that repeat again and again. These motions are not chaotic. They're guided gently by the field's structure, forming patterns that feel almost meditative in their repetition. Even when solar activity increases, these particles are redirected smoothly, preserving order without resistance. The magnetic field also helps define a quiet boundary between Earth and space. This boundary is not a wall, but a gradual transition where influence fades rather than stops. Space blends into the field and the field blends back toward the planet, creating a layered environment where nothing changes abruptly. Over long periods, the magnetic field records its own history in subtle ways. Layers of rock on the seafloor preserve faint magnetic signatures aligned with the field at the time they formed. These records accumulate slowly, like pages added to a book without urgency, offering a calm memory of motion that unfolded over millions of years. The field's interaction with Earth's atmosphere remains gentle and continuous. As charged particles are guided along magnetic paths, the atmosphere is protected without being compressed or disturbed. This protection does not feel active or defensive. It feels like quiet guidance, allowing balance to be maintained naturally. The magnetic field also responds slowly to changes within the core. Variations in heat flow or material movement do not cause immediate effects at the surface. Instead, they translate into gradual shifts that take years or decades to become noticeable. This delay softens change, allowing continuity to remain intact. Even during periods when the magnetic field weakens slightly, it does so evenly rather than suddenly. Strength decreases gently across wide regions, preserving coherence rather than fragmenting. This behavior reinforces the idea that the field adapts through patience rather than reaction. The magnetic field's presence influences modern technology without announcing itself. Satellites, navigation systems, and electrical grids quietly account for its steady influence. These systems rely on the field's predictability, trusting its calm consistency rather than preparing for sudden shifts. At the poles, the field's structure creates regions where energy from space is guided downward smoothly. The resulting light displays unfold slowly, following curved paths that mirror the field itself. Even here, motion feels guided and flowing, never abrupt or overwhelming. Throughout all of these interactions, the magnetic field continues without striving toward a final state. It drifts, adjusts, and persists, shaped by processes that remain active yet unhurried. There is no moment where the field arrives or completes its work. It simply remains, surrounding the planet with a quiet order that continues to unfold steady and present, far beyond the need for resolution. The Earth's magnetic field continues to exist as a slow conversation between the planet's interior and the space around it. Deep within the core, molten metal moves in broad, steady patterns that do not rush or collide. This motion generates electrical currents that sustain the magnetic field quietly, without peaks or pauses. The process does not aim toward completion. It simply maintains itself, moment after moment, through balance rather than effort. The magnetic field's shape remains flexible yet coherent. It bends and stretches gently in response to solar influence, adjusting its form without breaking continuity. When solar particles press against it, the field does not resist sharply. Instead, it yields smoothly, redistributing energy across a wide area so that no single region experiences sudden strain. This flexibility allows calm to persist even during change. As Earth rotates, the magnetic field rotates with it, maintaining alignment between the planet and its invisible envelope. This motion is smooth and continuous, reinforcing a sense of unity between Earth and the space it occupies. Nothing jerks or slips out of place. The field moves as part of the planet's overall rhythm. The magnetic field also exhibits slow waves of variation known as secular variation. These changes are so gradual that they require years of observation to notice. They do not interrupt daily life or natural systems. Instead, they reflect the quiet evolution of processes deep inside the Earth, reminding us that change can exist without urgency. Within rocks formed long ago, the magnetic field has left gentle traces. As molten rock cooled, magnetic minerals aligned with the field's direction at that time. These alignments remain preserved, forming a calm geological memory of the field's past positions. This record builds slowly over millions of years, without erasing what came before. The magnetic field also influences charged particles trapped within it, guiding them into stable regions where they circulate slowly. These particles move along predictable paths, forming belts that remain steady over long periods. Their motion is repetitive and ordered, reinforcing the field's role as a guide rather than a force. When the magnetic field changes strength slightly, it does so smoothly. There are no sudden losses or gains. Even during long-term fluctuations, the field maintains continuity, adapting gradually to new conditions while remaining present and functional. This steady adaptation preserves calm rather than disruption. The field's interaction with Earth's atmosphere remains subtle. It gently redirects energetic particles, preventing them from penetrating deeply. This guidance occurs continuously and invisibly, protecting the atmosphere without compressing or disturbing it. The atmosphere remains calm beneath the field's influence. The magnetic field's reach extends far beyond the surface, creating a quiet region of influence that merges gradually with space. There is no sharp edge to this region, only a slow fading of influence. This softness reinforces the idea that protection and guidance do not require rigid boundaries. Throughout all these processes, the magnetic field continues its steady existence without signaling an ending. It flows, shifts, and adapts quietly, guided by deep forces that move patiently. Nothing resolves or concludes. The field remains present, calm, and enduring, continuing its gentle motion around the planet as time moves forward without urgency. The Earth's magnetic field continues to express its calm presence through constancy rather than force. It surrounds the planet evenly, extending outward without sharp edges or sudden transitions. This smooth extension creates a sense of continuity, where the boundary between Earth and space feels gradual and softened rather than defined by abrupt limits. Within the magnetic field, motion follows curved paths that repeat steadily over time. Charged particles do not rush or scatter randomly. They move along gentle arcs, guided patiently by the field's structure. These repeating paths create an environment where movement feels organized and predictable, reinforcing the field's quiet order. The magnetic field responds to solar influence without reacting sharply. When streams of charged particles arrive from the sun, the field adjusts its shape subtly, redistributing pressure across a wide region. This response happens smoothly, allowing balance to be preserved without sudden strengthening or weakening. Over long periods, the magnetic field's orientation changes slowly. These changes are measured across decades rather than moments. The gradual pace ensures that natural systems have time to adjust, maintaining continuity rather than disruption. The field evolves without ever feeling unstable. Deep beneath the surface, the flow of molten metal that sustains the field remains steady. This motion is influenced by Earth's rotation and internal heat, but it does not fluctuate rapidly. Instead, it follows long, looping patterns that repeat gently, reinforcing the field's persistence. The magnetic field also interacts quietly with Earth's crust. As new rock forms and cools, magnetic minerals align with the field's direction. These alignments become fixed records, preserving the field's orientation at that moment without altering the present. Over time, these records accumulate calmly layer by layer. The field's strength varies gently across the planet. Differences between regions are gradual rather than abrupt, allowing continuity to remain intact. No location experiences a sudden absence or overwhelming presence. This evenness contributes to the field's soothing character. The magnetic field extends its influence into near-Earth space, shaping regions where particles drift slowly rather than collide. These regions remain stable over long periods, reinforcing the idea that guidance can exist without confinement. Motion remains free yet ordered. As Earth continues its rotation, the magnetic field maintains alignment, moving in harmony with the planet's motion. This synchronized movement creates a sense of unity, where the field feels like an extension of Earth itself, rather than a separate phenomenon. Through all of these interactions, the magnetic field continues to drift, adjust, and persist quietly. It does not aim toward completion or resolution. It remains present, guiding motion gently and maintaining balance as time unfolds, steady and unhurried, without signaling an end. The Earth's magnetic field continues its quiet work through a balance of movement and steadiness that rarely draws attention. Beneath the surface, the slow circulation of molten metals does not speed up or slow down abruptly. It follows a rhythm shaped by heat and rotation, producing electrical currents that sustain the field without interruption. This ongoing motion feels less like activity and more like maintenance, keeping balance intact through patience. The magnetic field gently organizes space around the planet. Instead of acting as a rigid shield, it creates a flexible region where charged particles are guided into smooth paths. These particles do not collide violently or scatter unpredictably. They drift along curved routes, following the field's structure in a way that feels calm and orderly. Changes within the magnetic field unfold gradually, often too slowly to notice without long observation. Small variations in strength or direction take years to become measurable. This slow pace ensures that the field remains stable on human timescales, reinforcing the sense that it exists beyond urgency or immediate response. The magnetic field also helps preserve the atmosphere through quiet guidance. Energetic particles approaching Earth are redirected gently, preventing erosion without compressing or disturbing atmospheric layers. This process happens continuously, without peaks or pauses, allowing the atmosphere to remain calm beneath the field's influence. As Earth moves through space, the magnetic field travels with it, maintaining its shape relative to the planet. This movement is smooth and uninterrupted, reinforcing the sense that the field is an extension of Earth rather than something imposed upon it. Planet and field remain connected through steady motion. Within the magnetosphere, regions of trapped particles form where motion becomes repetitive and predictable. These regions remain stable over long periods, allowing particles to circulate quietly without escaping or intensifying. The repetition of these paths contributes to the field's overall calm structure. The magnetic field's interaction with solar cycles remains gentle. Even as solar activity rises and falls, the field adapts gradually, absorbing variation without dramatic shifts. This adaptability allows the field to maintain balance across changing conditions without strain. At Earth's surface, the magnetic field remains subtle yet consistent. It does not fluctuate from moment to moment. Instead, it provides a steady reference that has guided navigation for centuries without needing adjustment. This quiet reliability reflects the broader nature of the field itself. The magnetic field's influence extends into the oceans as well, where moving water carries charged particles that respond faintly to its presence. These interactions are subtle and continuous, forming part of the planet's quiet electrical balance without disrupting natural flows. Throughout all of this, the magnetic field continues its steady presence. It shifts, guides, and protects without signaling change or resolution. The processes that sustain it remain active yet unhurried, allowing the field to persist calmly, moment by moment, as an invisible companion to the planet's ongoing motion. The Earth's magnetic field continues its presence as a quiet structure that supports stability rather than change. It does not need to be renewed or reinforced from outside sources. The same slow internal motion that formed it long ago continues patiently, sustaining the field through balance rather than intensity. This continuity allows the field to feel dependable, as though it has always been there and will continue without interruption. Deep within the planet, heat moves outward at a measured pace, guiding the flow of molten metals that generate the magnetic field. This heat transfer is gradual and even, preventing sudden shifts in motion. As a result, the electrical currents that arise from this movement remain steady, reinforcing the calm and persistent nature of the field above. The magnetic field does not act alone, but in quiet coordination with Earth's rotation. As the planet turns, the field maintains its orientation smoothly, never lagging behind or racing ahead. This synchronized motion creates a sense of unity, where Earth and its magnetic presence move together as a single, continuous system. In near-Earth space, the magnetic field forms regions where charged particles slow down and follow predictable paths. These regions are not chaotic or crowded. Instead, they feel organized and spacious, allowing motion to repeat gently without building intensity. This ordered movement reinforces the field's role as a guide rather than a barrier. The magnetic field's ability to adapt to changing solar conditions remains subtle. When solar activity increases, the field absorbs the added energy by adjusting its shape gradually. It stretches and compresses gently, redistributing forces so that balance is maintained. This adaptability happens without sharp transitions, preserving calm even during variation. Over long periods, the magnetic field's strength may rise or fall slightly. These changes are so gradual that they blend into the background of time. Natural systems adjust without disruption, demonstrating that the field evolves through slow transitions rather than sudden events. The magnetic field also influences Earth's electrical environment quietly. Small electrical currents flow through the ground and oceans, shaped in part by the field's presence. These currents do not surge or spike, they remain faint and continuous, contributing to the planet's overall electrical balance without drawing attention. In geological records, the magnetic field leaves behind gentle markers rather than dramatic imprints. As lava cools or sediments settle, magnetic minerals align softly with the field's direction. These alignments remain preserved for millions of years, forming a calm archive of the field's slow movement through time. The field's reach into space creates a gradual transition where Earth's influence fades gently. There is no sharp edge where the field suddenly stops. Instead, its strength diminishes slowly, blending into the surrounding space. This softness reinforces the idea that protection and influence can exist without rigid boundaries. Through all of these ongoing processes, the magnetic field continues to exist without moving toward a conclusion. It shifts subtly, adapts quietly, and remains present. The forces that sustain it work patiently, allowing the field to persist as a steady, invisible structure that surrounds the planet, guiding motion and maintaining balance as time continues to unfold without urgency. The Earth's magnetic field continues its quiet presence as a stabilizing influence that does not demand attention. It exists as a constant background force, shaping interactions gently rather than directing them sharply. This subtle guidance allows natural systems to operate smoothly, creating an environment where balance is maintained without effort or urgency. Within the planet's interior, the slow circulation of molten material remains steady and unbroken. This movement does not surge or pause, It flows patiently, driven by heat that escapes gradually from Earth's core. The magnetic field reflects this calm internal rhythm, expressing it outward as a steady and continuous presence. As Earth travels through space, the magnetic field accompanies it seamlessly. There is no separation between planet and field. They move together as a unified system, maintaining alignment without adjustment. This harmony reinforces the feeling that the field is a natural extension of Earth itself. The magnetic field's interaction with solar particles continues gently. When these particles arrive, the field redirects them along curved paths rather than blocking them abruptly. This redirection unfolds smoothly, preventing sudden impacts and allowing energy to be dispersed evenly across space. In the magnetosphere, motion remains organized and predictable. Charged particles circulate along established routes, repeating patterns that change only slowly over time. This repetition creates a sense of calm order, where motion does not escalate or collapse, but continues steadily. The magnetic field also plays a role in preserving Earth's long-term stability. By reducing the loss of atmospheric particles, it helps maintain conditions that remain consistent over immense spans of time. This protection does not occur through forceful action, but through quiet guidance that persists without interruption. Over centuries, the magnetic field's orientation shifts gradually. These movements are measured and smooth, allowing life and natural systems to adapt without stress. The slow pace of change ensures continuity rather than disruption, reinforcing the field's calming influence. The field's presence affects subtle electrical processes within the planet. Small currents flow through the ground and oceans, guided faintly by magnetic influence. These currents remain weak and steady, forming part of Earth's background electrical environment rather than dramatic events. In the natural world, many species respond quietly to the magnetic field. Navigation and orientation occur without conscious effort, guided by a force that does not fluctuate rapidly. This dependable presence supports life without drawing attention to itself. Through all of these ongoing interactions, the magnetic field continues without aiming toward an endpoint. It does not complete a cycle or reach a final state. Instead, it remains in motion, adapting slowly, maintaining balance and surrounding the planet with a calm, invisible structure that continues unfolding gently, moment by moment, without urgency or conclusion. The Earth's magnetic field continues to exist as a quiet companion to the planet's motion, present at every moment without drawing attention to itself. It does not switch on or off, and it does not arrive suddenly. Instead, it remains woven into the fabric of Earth's existence, shaping interactions gently and consistently as time moves forward. Deep within the outer core, the slow movement of molten iron remains organized rather than chaotic. Convection currents rise and fall gradually, guided by heat and Earth's rotation. These movements generate electrical currents that sustain the magnetic field continuously, reinforcing the idea that stability can emerge from motion that is patient and steady. The magnetic field's strength at the surface feels almost unchanging from day to day. Small variations exist, but they unfold so slowly that they blend into the background of everyday life. This consistency allows natural systems and technologies alike to rely on the field without constant adjustment. In near-Earth space, the magnetic field forms gentle corridors where charged particles drift rather than collide. These corridors remain stable over long periods, guiding particles into looping paths that repeat predictably. This ordered motion prevents build-up and release, allowing energy to circulate calmly instead of erupting suddenly. The magnetic field also moderates the interaction between Earth and the Sun in a quiet, ongoing way. Solar energy arrives continuously, and the field shapes how that energy spreads through space around the planet. This shaping is gradual and adaptive, maintaining balance rather than reacting sharply to change. Over long spans of time, the magnetic field's slow drift leaves subtle patterns across the globe. These patterns do not erase what came before, Instead, they layer gently upon one another, creating a continuous history written not in moments, but in centuries. The field's influence reaches into the oceans, where slow-moving currents carry faint electrical charges. These charges interact softly with the magnetic field, contributing to Earth's overall electromagnetic balance without disturbing the natural flow of water. This interaction remains subtle and constant, another example of coordination. The magnetic field also affects the distribution of radiation around Earth, guiding energetic particles toward regions where they dissipate safely. This guidance does not involve abrupt deflection. It occurs smoothly, allowing energy to spread out and fade rather than concentrate. Within Earth's crust, magnetic minerals continue to respond quietly to the field's presence. Over time, these minerals align gently, preserving a record of the field's orientation without influencing its current state. This ongoing recording happens naturally, without urgency or interruption. Through all these processes, the magnetic field continues to shift and adapt at a pace that feels almost timeless. It does not settle into a final form, nor does it rush toward change. It simply persists, surrounding the planet with a steady, invisible structure that supports balance and continuity as time flows onward, calm and unbroken. The Earth's magnetic field continues to unfold as a presence that feels constant, even while it slowly evolves. It does not announce its motion or signal its adjustments. Instead, it remains quietly active, shaped by forces deep within the planet that move at a pace far slower than daily awareness. This gentle evolution allows the field to feel reliable, as though it is always there in the same way, even as it subtly shifts over time. At great depth, the balance between heat and motion remains steady. Thermal energy escapes from the core gradually, guiding the slow circulation of molten metal that sustains the magnetic field. This movement is neither random nor hurried. It follows broad, repeating patterns that reinforce stability, showing how continuous motion can coexist with calm. The magnetic field's structure allows it to respond to external influences without losing coherence. When solar conditions change, the field reshapes itself slightly, distributing energy across its wide reach. These adjustments happen smoothly, preserving order rather than disrupting it. The field adapts without strain, maintaining its overall form while accommodating variation. Near Earth's surface, the magnetic field remains subtle and dependable. Its influence does not fluctuate sharply from place to place or moment to moment. This steadiness allows both natural systems and human technologies to function without constant correction, relying on a background force that remains calm and predictable. The magnetic field also supports a quiet continuity between Earth and space. It creates a gradual region of influence where particles slow, curve, and drift rather than collide. This transition feels soft rather than abrupt, reinforcing the idea that boundaries in nature can be gentle and layered rather than rigid. Over centuries, small changes in the magnetic field accumulate into slow patterns of movement. These patterns are not sudden reversals or disruptions. They are gentle drifts that unfold patiently, allowing the field to carry its history forward without erasing what came before. The interaction between the magnetic field and Earth's rotation remains constant. As the planet spins, the field maintains alignment, moving in harmony rather than resisting motion. This synchronization contributes to the sense that Earth and its magnetic presence form a single integrated system. Within the magnetosphere, charged particles continue their calm circulation along established paths. Their motion repeats without escalation, forming loops that persist over long periods. This repetition reinforces the field's role as a guide that encourages order, rather than a force that imposes control. The magnetic field's influence on living systems remains quiet and unobtrusive. Orientation and navigation occur without conscious effort, guided by a presence that does not demand attention. This gentle guidance supports life while remaining largely unnoticed. Even at this stage, the magnetic field does not move toward a conclusion. It continues to shift slowly, guided by deep processes that remain active and patient. Nothing about the field suggests an ending or a final state. It persists as a calm, invisible companion to the planet's motion, maintaining balance and continuity as time flows onward, steady and unhurried. The Earth's magnetic field continues to exist as a quiet, shaping influence that does not seek attention or recognition. It remains present even when unnoticed, guiding motion and interaction gently rather than directing them forcefully. This constant presence creates a background sense of order, where systems function smoothly without needing to respond to sudden change. Deep within the planet, the balance between heat, rotation and material flow remains carefully maintained. Molten iron moves in wide, looping paths that repeat over long periods, generating electrical currents that sustain the magnetic field. These movements do not accelerate or slow abruptly. They persist at a pace that feels steady and reassuring, reinforcing the field's calm endurance. The magnetic field's interaction with solar activity continues as a process of quiet adjustment. When streams of charged particles arrive, the field reshapes itself slightly, spreading their influence over a broad area. This redistribution prevents concentration and intensity, allowing balance to remain intact without effort or resistance. At the boundary between Earth's influence and open space, the magnetic field fades gradually rather than ending sharply. Its strength diminishes softly, creating a layered transition where influence blends rather than stops. This gentle boundary reflects the field's overall nature, where guidance replaces force and continuity replaces abrupt change. Over long spans of time, the magnetic field's slow drift leaves subtle imprints across the planet. These imprints do not overwrite one another. Instead, they accumulate gently, forming a continuous record of motion that unfolds across centuries. This layered history reinforces the idea that change can occur without disruption. The magnetic field also plays a quiet role in regulating energetic particles near Earth. Rather than allowing them to strike directly, it guides them into slow, curved paths where energy dissipates naturally. This process happens continuously, without peaks or pauses, maintaining stability through persistence. Within Earth's interior, the same processes that sustain the magnetic field also contribute to long-term planetary balance. Heat transfer, material movement, and rotation remain interconnected, forming a system that supports itself through cooperation rather than control. The magnetic field emerges naturally from this harmony. At the surface, the field remains subtle and dependable. It does not fluctuate dramatically with weather or daily cycles. This consistency allows it to serve as a steady reference for navigation and orientation, reflecting its broader role as a calm background force. The magnetic field's influence on technology and infrastructure remains largely invisible. Systems are designed to work alongside it, accounting for its presence quietly rather than reacting to sudden changes. This compatibility highlights the field's predictability and stability. As time continues, the magnetic field does not move toward a final form. It remains open-ended, shaped by processes that continue unfolding beneath the surface. It shifts slowly, adapts gently, and persists without urgency, surrounding the planet with an invisible structure that maintains balance and calm, allowing everything within its reach to continue without needing resolution or completion. The Earth's magnetic field continues to reveal itself as a system built on patience rather than force. It does not rely on sudden surges or dramatic shifts to sustain itself. Instead, it exists through a continuous exchange of motion and balance deep within the planet, where molten materials circulate slowly, maintaining conditions that allow the field to persist without interruption. Within the outer core, movement follows paths shaped by Earth's rotation, creating a gentle organization to the flow of liquid metal. This organization prevents randomness and instability, Electrical currents arise naturally from this motion, reinforcing the magnetic field in a way that feels self-sustaining, as though the system knows how to maintain itself without constant adjustment. The magnetic field's presence creates a quiet framework within which other processes unfold. Atmospheric interactions, particle motion, and even subtle electrical phenomena occur within its influence, guided softly rather than constrained. This framework does not limit motion, it shapes it gently, allowing freedom without chaos. As the magnetic field extends into space, it forms regions where motion slows and becomes predictable. Charged particles entering these regions are guided into smooth trajectories rather than abrupt collisions. This guidance allows energy to disperse gradually, reinforcing calm rather than intensity. The field's gradual evolution reflects the slow pace of change inside the Earth. Shifts in temperature and material flow beneath the surface translate into magnetic variations only after long delays. This buffering effect ensures that surface conditions remain stable even as deeper processes continue unfolding. The magnetic field also contributes to a sense of continuity across generations. It remains present beyond individual lifetimes, changing so slowly that it feels almost timeless. This endurance creates a background stability that supports both natural systems and human activity without demanding awareness. Within geological formations, the magnetic field continues to leave subtle impressions. As rocks cool or sediments settle, magnetic minerals align quietly with the field's direction. These alignments persist as silent records of the field's orientation, accumulating over time without interfering with the present. The interaction between the magnetic field and Earth's rotation remains smooth and uninterrupted. As the planet turns, the field maintains alignment, reinforcing a sense of unity between Earth and its surrounding space. This coordination does not require correction or reinforcement. It occurs naturally, moment by moment. The field's influence also reaches into subtle biological processes. Orientation and movement in many living systems occur within its steady presence, guided without conscious awareness. This quiet support allows life to function smoothly without needing to respond to sudden changes in magnetic conditions. Throughout all these ongoing processes, the magnetic field remains open-ended. It does not approach completion or resolution. It continues to adapt slowly, shaped by deep planetary motion that unfolds without urgency. The field persists as a calm, invisible structure, surrounding the planet with steady guidance that continues seamlessly, allowing balance to remain intact as time flows gently onward. The Earth's magnetic field continues as a quiet expression of long-term balance, shaped by forces that move far more slowly than surface events. Deep within the planet, energy flows outward at a measured pace, guiding the motion of molten material that sustains the field. This steady exchange creates an environment where continuity feels natural, and change unfolds without disruption. The magnetic field does not demand precision to remain effective. Its strength and shape vary gently across space, yet its overall presence remains cohesive. These soft variations allow the field to remain flexible, adapting to shifting conditions without losing its essential structure. This flexibility supports calm rather than instability. As the field extends outward, it creates regions where charged particles drift calmly along curved paths. These paths are not rigid tracks, but gentle guides that encourage motion without forcing it. The result is an environment where energy circulates quietly, never accumulating enough to overwhelm the system. Within Earth's interior, the same slow processes that sustain the magnetic field also promote long-term stability. Heat, motion, and rotation interact continuously, reinforcing one another rather than competing. The magnetic field emerges naturally from this cooperation, reflecting harmony rather than tension. The magnetic field's gradual changes are often detectable, only through careful, long-term observation. These changes do not interrupt natural rhythms or daily life. Instead, they blend into the background, reminding us that not all motion needs to be noticed to be meaningful. At the boundary between Earth and space, the magnetic field softens interactions rather than blocking them. Incoming particles are guided gently, their energy spread across wide areas. This diffusion prevents sharp impacts and preserves equilibrium, allowing calm to persist even as conditions vary. The field's influence on Earth's atmosphere remains steady and supportive. It reduces the loss of particles over long periods, helping maintain atmospheric balance without dramatic intervention. This quiet protection unfolds continuously, reinforcing stability rather than reacting to immediate threats. Within rocks and sediments, magnetic signatures continue to accumulate slowly. Each layer records a moment in the field's long history, preserving direction and strength without erasing previous records. This layered memory builds patiently, offering continuity rather than replacement. The magnetic field also supports a sense of orientation that does not rely on constant correction. Systems that respond to it do so smoothly, adjusting gently to gradual changes. This adaptability allows guidance to remain effective without becoming rigid or demanding. Even as time passes, the magnetic field does not move toward a final arrangement. It remains shaped by processes that continue unfolding beneath the surface, evolving without urgency. Its presence endures as a calm, invisible structure that surrounds the planet, maintaining balance through patience and continuity as time flows gently onward. The Earth's magnetic field continues to exist as a quiet framework that allows countless natural processes to unfold without conflict. It does not interfere or dominate. Instead, it provides a gentle structure within which motion can occur smoothly. This framework is flexible rather than rigid, allowing variation while preserving balance over long periods of time. Deep within the planet, the relationship between heat and motion remains steady. Thermal energy moves outwards slowly, guiding the circulation of molten iron in broad looping paths. These paths do not change abruptly, they repeat and adjust gradually, ensuring that the magnetic field they generate remains continuous and stable rather than reactive. The magnetic field's ability to adapt without disruption is one of its most calming qualities. When conditions within the core shift slightly, the field responds with patience. Changes emerge as slow adjustments rather than sudden transformations, allowing continuity to remain intact even as evolution takes place. As the field extends into space, it shapes an environment where charged particles experience guidance rather than resistance. These particles follow curved routes that feel natural and predictable. Motion remains organized without being confined, reinforcing the sense that order can exist without control. The magnetic field also contributes to Earth's long-term equilibrium by moderating interactions with the Sun. Solar energy arrives continuously, and the field shapes how that energy spreads around the planet. This shaping process is smooth and distributed, preventing concentration and maintaining calm balance rather than reacting forcefully. Within Earth's crust, magnetic minerals continue to respond quietly to the field's presence. Their alignment occurs gradually as rocks form and cool, preserving subtle records without altering current conditions. These records accumulate patiently, creating a layered history that reflects slow motion rather than sudden change. The magnetic field's slow drift across the planet unfolds over centuries. This movement does not disrupt orientation or stability. Instead, it allows systems to adjust gently, maintaining reliability even as direction changes slightly over time. This gradual shift reinforces the idea that movement does not require urgency. The field's influence on near-Earth space remains steady and predictable. Regions shaped by magnetic guidance persist over long periods, allowing particles to circulate calmly rather than collide. This predictability contributes to the overall sense of order that surrounds the planet. Electrical processes within the Earth also interact quietly with the magnetic field. Small currents flow through rock and water, shaped subtly by magnetic influence. These currents remain faint and continuous, forming part of a broader equilibrium rather than drawing attention through sudden variation. Through all these ongoing interactions, the magnetic field continues to exist without striving toward completion. It adapts slowly, guides gently, and remains present without interruption. Nothing within it signals an ending or final state. It simply continues, offering a steady, invisible presence that supports balance and calm as time moves forward at its own unhurried pace. The Earth's magnetic field continues to express its calm presence through consistency rather than intensity. It does not rely on dramatic strength to remain effective. Instead, its influence is spread gently across vast distances, creating an environment where balance is maintained through steady guidance rather than forceful action. Deep beneath the surface, the slow movement of molten material remains organized and patient. Heat rises gradually, guiding the flow of liquid metal in repeating patterns that sustain the magnetic field without interruption. This motion does not rush toward change. It repeats calmly, reinforcing stability through familiarity. The magnetic field's ability to absorb variation remains one of its quiet strengths. When internal or external conditions shift slightly, the field adjusts smoothly, redistributing influence rather than concentrating it. These adjustments happen without sharp transitions, preserving continuity and calm. As the field extends outward into space, it creates a wide region where motion is guided gently. Charged particles slow and curve along magnetic paths, spreading their energy evenly. This soft guidance prevents build-up and release, allowing interaction without disruption. The magnetic field also maintains a gentle relationship with Earth's atmosphere. It reduces the loss of atmospheric particles gradually, supporting long-term stability without compressing or disturbing the layers below. This protection is ongoing and subtle, unfolding quietly over time. Within the planet's crust, magnetic minerals continue to align with the field as new rock forms. These alignments settle into place slowly, preserving direction without influencing future motion. This quiet recording adds to a growing archive of the field's history, layered patiently rather than overwritten. The magnetic field's slow drift across Earth's surface remains almost imperceptible. Direction changes unfold over long periods, allowing natural systems to adjust naturally. This gradual movement reinforces reliability, showing that guidance does not need to remain fixed to remain effective. Near-Earth space remains shaped by the magnetic field's steady structure. Regions of influence persist calmly, allowing particles to circulate without chaos. This predictability supports balance, ensuring that motion remains ordered rather than turbulent. Electrical interactions within Earth's oceans and ground continue quietly under magnetic influence. Small currents flow steadily, forming part of the planet's broader electrical balance. These currents remain faint and continuous, reinforcing stability rather than change. Even at this stage, the magnetic field does not signal an ending. It continues to adapt slowly, guided by deep planetary motion that remains active yet unhurried. The field persists as a calm, invisible presence, surrounding the planet with steady guidance and balance, allowing time to move forward naturally without urgency or conclusion. The Earth's magnetic field continues to exist as a steady background presence that supports balance without requiring awareness. It does not announce its influence, and it does not need reinforcement to remain effective. Instead, it persists through the quiet cooperation of deep planetary processes that unfold patiently beneath the surface. Within the outer core, molten iron continues its slow circulation, guided by heat and rotation rather than force. This movement is broad and continuous, creating electrical currents that sustain the magnetic field without interruption. The motion feels rhythmic rather than reactive, reinforcing the sense that stability can arise from steady repetition. The magnetic field responds to variation with softness rather than resistance. When changes occur within Earth's interior or in the surrounding space environment, the field adjusts its shape gradually. These adjustments do not break continuity. They blend smoothly into what already exists, allowing calm to remain intact. As the field extends outward, it forms a wide region where motion becomes organized and gentle. Charged particles entering this region are guided along curved paths that slow their progress and spread their energy. This guidance allows interaction without intensity, preserving balance through diffusion rather than containment. The magnetic field's influence on Earth's atmosphere continues quietly over long periods. By guiding energetic particles away from direct impact, it supports atmospheric stability without compressing or disturbing the layers below. This protection unfolds continuously, reinforcing equilibrium rather than reacting to immediate change. The field's gradual drift across the planet remains measured and predictable. Directional changes occur over decades and centuries, allowing natural systems to adapt without stress. This slow movement demonstrates that guidance does not need to remain fixed to remain reliable. Within geological formations, magnetic signatures continue to accumulate as new materials form. These signatures settle gently, recording the field's orientation at the time without altering its future motion. This quiet recording builds a layered history that reflects patience rather than urgency. The magnetic field also interacts subtly with electrical processes in Earth's oceans and crust. Small currents flow steadily, shaped faintly by magnetic influence. These currents do not surge or fluctuate dramatically. They remain part of a broader, stable system that supports planetary balance. Near-Earth space continues to reflect the magnetic field's calm structure. Regions shaped by magnetic guidance persist over long periods, allowing particles to circulate without collision or buildup. This predictability contributes to an overall sense of order that surrounds the planet. Through all of these ongoing processes, the magnetic field continues without approaching a final state. It adapts slowly, guides gently, and remains present without interruption. Nothing about it suggests completion or resolution. It simply persists, surrounding the Earth with a steady, invisible presence that supports balance and continuity as time continues to move forward at its own unhurried pace. The Earth's magnetic field continues to exist as a calm, organizing presence that does not require attention to remain effective. It surrounds the planet quietly, shaping motion and interaction without demanding recognition. This steady presence allows countless systems to operate smoothly, guided gently rather than directed forcefully. Deep within the planet, the balance between heat flow and material movement remains consistent. Molten iron circulates slowly in wide patterns that repeat over long spans of time. These patterns do not aim toward change. They maintain continuity, sustaining the magnetic field through steady motion rather than sudden shifts. The magnetic field absorbs variation without becoming unstable. When subtle changes arise in Earth's interior or in the surrounding space environment, the field responds gradually. Adjustments unfold smoothly, spreading influence evenly rather than concentrating it. This behavior preserves calm even as conditions evolve. As the field extends outward into space, it creates an environment where motion slows and becomes ordered. Charged particles entering this region are guided into curved paths that reduce intensity. Energy disperses gently rather than building up, allowing balance to persist without intervention. The magnetic field's influence on Earth's atmosphere continues as a quiet form of support. It helps limit long-term atmospheric loss by guiding energetic particles away from direct interaction. This protection happens continuously, without peaks or pauses, reinforcing stability rather than reacting to sudden change. Over long periods, the magnetic field's slow drift remains predictable. Directional changes unfold over generations, giving natural systems ample time to adjust. This gradual movement reinforces reliability, showing that guidance does not need to be fixed to remain steady. Within Earth's crust, magnetic minerals continue to align softly with the field as rocks form and cool. These alignments settle gently into place, preserving orientation without altering the present. Over time, they build a calm record of the field's motion through history. The magnetic field also interacts quietly with electrical processes across the planet. Small currents flow through oceans and solid ground, shaped subtly by magnetic influence. These currents remain faint and steady, contributing to Earth's broader electrical balance without drawing attention. Near-Earth space remains structured by the magnetic field's steady presence. Regions shaped by magnetic guidance persist calmly, allowing particles to circulate without collision or chaos. This predictability supports a sense of order that extends beyond the planet itself. Even here, the magnetic field does not approach an ending. It continues to adapt slowly, guided by deep planetary processes that remain active and patient. Nothing within the field signals completion or resolution. It persists as a calm, invisible companion to Earth's motion, maintaining balance and continuity as time flows onward, steady and unhurried. The Earth's magnetic field continues to unfold as a quiet presence that feels less like a force and more like a condition of existence. It does not compete with other processes on the planet. Instead, it provides a steady background in which everything else can move calmly, guided without pressure and supported without demand. Deep inside the planet, the flow of molten iron remains consistent, shaped by heat that escapes slowly from Earth's core. This motion is broad and deliberate, never rushing toward change. Electrical currents arise naturally from the circulation, sustaining the magnetic field through repetition rather than intensity. The process feels settled, as though it has found a rhythm that does not need adjustment. The magnetic field responds to the surrounding space environment with patience. When variations arrive from the sun, the field reshapes itself gradually, stretching or compressing just enough to distribute energy evenly. These changes do not feel reactive. They feel adaptive, preserving continuity while allowing variation to pass through gently. As the field extends outward, it creates a wide region where motion becomes smooth and predictable. Charged particles follow curved paths that reduce speed and intensity. Instead of colliding or scattering, energy spreads out, fading gradually. This gentle guidance maintains balance without needing barriers or resistance. The magnetic field's influence on Earth's atmosphere remains subtle and continuous. It helps prevent long-term loss by guiding energetic particles away from direct interaction. This protection does not occur in bursts. It unfolds steadily, supporting atmospheric stability without drawing attention. The slow drift of the magnetic field across the planet continues over centuries. These movements are gradual enough that they blend into the background of time. Natural systems adapt quietly, maintaining orientation and balance without disruption. The field changes without breaking trust. Within rocks forming deep below the surface or along the ocean floor, magnetic minerals continue to align gently with the field. These alignments settle into place as the material cools, preserving a calm snapshot of direction without affecting what comes next. Over time, these records accumulate like layers of memory. Electrical interactions shaped by the magnetic field remain faint but persistent. Small currents flow through seawater and solid ground, shaped subtly by magnetic influence. These currents remain steady and balanced, forming part of a quiet planetary system rather than dramatic events. Near Earth, the magnetic field continues to shape space into an ordered environment. Regions influenced by magnetic guidance remain stable, allowing particles to circulate calmly rather than collide. This predictability extends the sense of calm beyond the planet's surface. Even here, the magnetic field does not resolve into an ending. It continues its slow adaptation, guided by deep planetary motion that remains active yet unhurried. Nothing signals completion. The field simply persists, surrounding the Earth with an invisible, steady presence that maintains balance and continuity as time moves forward gently, without urgency or conclusion. The Earth's magnetic field continues to exist as a quiet condition rather than an active force. It does not switch between states or announce transitions. Instead, it remains present through constancy, allowing other systems to operate within its steady influence. This persistence creates an environment where stability feels natural, not enforced. Deep within the planet, the interaction between heat loss and rotation remains carefully balanced. As heat escapes slowly from the core, it guides molten material into organized motion. This motion does not seek efficiency or speed. It follows long-established pathways that sustain the magnetic field through repetition rather than change. The magnetic field's interaction with space is shaped by patience. Incoming solar particles are not abruptly stopped. They are guided gradually, their paths curve gently until their energy spreads out and fades. This process prevents sudden impacts, allowing calm continuity rather than reaction. Across long spans of time, the magnetic field shows resilience without rigidity. Its structure adapts while remaining coherent, adjusting shape without losing identity. This ability to remain flexible while stable reflects a deeper principle of balance that does not require fixed positions to endure. The magnetic field also supports a slow exchange between Earth and its surroundings. Energetic particles enter and leave the magnetosphere gradually, guided rather than forced. This exchange allows interaction without depletion, reinforcing a sense of quiet equilibrium rather than defense. Within the Earth's interior, the processes that sustain the magnetic field are not isolated. They interact continuously with heat flow, material density, and planetary rotation. These interactions form a self-regulating system where no single factor dominates, allowing balance to emerge naturally over time. At the surface, the magnetic field remains subtle yet dependable. Its influence does not fluctuate with daily conditions or seasons. This consistency allows orientation and navigation to occur without effort, guided by a presence that remains calm and predictable. The magnetic field's gradual movement across the planet reflects the slow pace of deep planetary processes. Directional changes unfold over centuries, blending into the background of time. These movements allow continuity to remain intact, reinforcing reliability rather than disruption. Within geological formations, magnetic records continue to accumulate quietly. As new materials form, they align gently with the field's direction, preserving a moment in its long history. These records do not overwrite one another. They layer patiently, reflecting continuity rather than replacement. Even now, the magnetic field does not approach a conclusion. It remains shaped by processes that continue unfolding beneath the surface, adapting slowly without urgency. Its presence persists as a calm, invisible structure that surrounds the planet, maintaining balance not by arriving somewhere, but by continuing gently moment after moment without the need to end. The Earth's magnetic field continues to exist as a slow, guiding presence that shapes motion without imposing direction. It does not command particles or systems to behave in specific ways. Instead, it creates gentle tendencies, soft pathways that matter naturally follows. This influence feels less like control and more like quiet suggestion, allowing balance to emerge without effort. Far beneath the surface, the magnetic field is sustained by motion that has no clear beginning or end. The circulation of molten metal does not reset or pause. It flows continuously, shaped by forces that change only over immense spans of time. This uninterrupted movement gives the magnetic field a sense of permanence, even as it slowly evolves. The magnetic field's interaction with solar energy remains steady across changing conditions. When the sun becomes more active, the field does not react abruptly. It adjusts gradually, spreading incoming energy across a wide region so that no single area experiences sudden stress. This calm response preserves stability through distribution rather than resistance. Across the magnetosphere, particles move in looping paths that repeat quietly. These loops are not rigid tracks, but gently maintained routes that allow motion without collision. The repetition of these paths creates a rhythm that feels predictable and unhurried, reinforcing the magnetic field's role as an organizer rather than an enforcer. The magnetic field also contributes to Earth's long-term continuity by supporting the atmosphere indirectly. By guiding energetic particles away from direct impact, it reduces gradual atmospheric loss over millions of years. This protection does not happen dramatically. It unfolds patiently, reinforcing the idea that preservation can occur through quiet persistence. Within Earth's interior, the same processes that generate the magnetic field also help regulate heat distribution. Heat escapes slowly, preventing sudden internal shifts. This steady transfer supports consistent motion in the core, allowing the magnetic field to remain stable rather than fluctuating rapidly. The magnetic field's gradual drift across Earth's surface does not disrupt orientation or balance. Instead, it allows natural systems to adjust smoothly. Directional changes occur so slowly that they blend into the background of time, reinforcing trust in the field's reliability even as it moves. In rocks and sediments, magnetic alignment continues quietly as new material forms. These alignments settle naturally, recording direction without altering present conditions. Over long periods, these records accumulate like layers of calm memory, preserving continuity rather than replacing it. The magnetic field's influence on electric processes remains subtle and continuous. Small currents flow through oceans and solid ground, shaped gently by magnetic presence. These currents do not surge or spike. They remain steady, contributing to a broader equilibrium that supports planetary balance. Through all these ongoing interactions, the magnetic field does not signal completion or resolution. It continues to adapt slowly, guided by deep planetary motion that remains active yet patient. The field persists as a calm, invisible presence that surrounds the Earth, maintaining balance not by arriving somewhere, but by continuing quietly, allowing time to move forward without urgency or end. The Earth's magnetic field continues as a quiet organizer of motion, shaping pathways rather than enforcing limits. Charged particles respond to its presence by following gentle curves, not because they are forced to, but because those paths offer the least resistance. This natural guidance allows movement to feel effortless and calm, reinforcing balance without pressure. Deep within the planet, the processes that sustain the magnetic field unfold without interruption. The flow of molten metal does not operate on schedules or cycles that reset. It moves continuously, shaped by heat and rotation that change only over immense spans of time. This uninterrupted motion gives the magnetic field a sense of steady reliability. The magnetic field's interaction with Earth's surroundings remains fluid rather than fixed. As conditions in space vary, the field adjusts its shape gradually, expanding or compressing just enough to maintain equilibrium. These adjustments are smooth, preserving continuity rather than introducing contrast or strain. Within the magnetosphere, particles circulate in patterns that repeat calmly. These patterns are not rigid or mechanical. They shift slightly over time, yet remain recognizable, allowing motion to continue without chaos. This repetition creates a quiet rhythm that feels stable rather than static. The magnetic field also contributes to Earth's long-term environmental balance by moderating how energy enters and leaves the system. Instead of allowing sudden exchanges, it encourages gradual interaction. Energy spreads out, fades, and integrates slowly, preventing sharp transitions that might disrupt stability. In the planet's interior, heat transfer and magnetic generation remain closely linked. Heat moves outward at a measured pace, guiding the motion of conductive materials. This relationship ensures that the magnetic field remains sustained without spikes or drops, reinforcing calm through consistency. The field's slow drift across Earth's surface reflects the deep pace of planetary processes. These movements unfold over generations, blending into the background of time. Because change happens so gradually, continuity remains unbroken, allowing systems to adapt without stress. Within geological records, magnetic alignment continues quietly as new rock forms. These alignments preserve orientation gently, capturing moments in the field's history without interrupting its present state. Over long periods, these records accumulate like a soft timeline, layered patiently rather than replaced. Electrical interactions shaped by the magnetic field remain subtle and continuous. Small currents flow through oceans and land, guided faintly by magnetic influence. These currents do not draw attention to themselves. They remain steady, supporting Earth's broader electrical balance. Even now, the magnetic field does not approach a conclusion or final form. It continues to exist as an open process, shaped by deep motion that remains active yet unhurried. The field persists quietly, surrounding the planet with steady guidance, allowing time to move forward naturally without urgency, resolution, or need for completion. As this gentle journey through Earth's magnetic field begins to soften and fade into the background, there is nothing left to follow and nothing left to understand. The field does not require observation to continue its quiet work. It will keep flowing invisibly around the planet, shifting slowly, guiding motion, and maintaining balance whether it is noticed or not. You may sense your thoughts becoming lighter now, less defined, like faint lines drifting through space and gradually dissolving. That softening is natural. Just as the magnetic field does not rush toward change, your mind does not need to reach a conclusion. Everything can remain open, steady, and at rest. Let your breathing stay slow and unforced. Let your body rest exactly where it is, supported without effort. Imagine yourself gently surrounded by that invisible presence, held evenly on all sides, where nothing pulls sharply and nothing presses. There is only quiet balance and steady continuation. The Earth's magnetic field reminds us that protection does not need to be loud and stability does not need to be rigid. Some of the most important forces move slowly, unseen, shaping the world through patience rather than urgency. Thank you for spending this time with the Sleepy Scientist. Whenever the world feels noisy or your thoughts feel heavy, you're always welcome to return to these calm explorations, where science moves gently and rest arrives naturally. For now, allow the quiet to remain. Let the field continue beyond awareness, and let whatever comes next arrive softly in its own time without needing to be noticed at all. Good night.